Hello, I am Richard A. Boxall, and this is my short and almost daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily-ish.
You're listening to the diary of a wannabe writer, Season 3.
Hello, today is Sunday the 23rd of August 2026. Welcome to the show. It's been a while. I'm sorry. I've not been in the mood to write, and I've had so much else going on that this wasn't the forum to really talk about it. But I thought I'll give you an update. I'm not quite sure when this is going to be back as a regular thing, but at the moment, I'm writing is the kind of last thing on my mind. So, first thing is, well, a couple of things really about my hip. I've sort of talked about the fact I'm going to have a hip replacement hopefully coming up soon. So last Monday, so 6 days ago now, I had an appointment for my pre-op examination and stuff, and they identified that my blood pressure was quite high. And what they advised me to do was, I hate doctors. So one thing you need to know about me is my blood pressure will increase purely walking through the door of a surgery. So I said to the lady, it might be high, it might just be because I'm here. So basically, so everything else, I had a heart scan thing, anyway, the heart scan thing, the name for it will come back to me later, but that was all fine. So it was just blood pressure looked high on the day, not MRI. The blood pressure looked high on the day, so the lady said, well, can't sign you off for surgery until we know whether that's a blip or whether your blood pressure is actually high. And if it is, we need to control it before we can, put you through for surgery. So she recommended I went and bought a home blood pressure monitor. So I did. And every time I put the armband on, I could feel the pressure. I could feel me stressing about it. So I have managed to get a reading quite a bit lower than the one I took in the surgery, but not low enough necessarily to be signed off for, having the hip replacement done. So I then had work. Talk about that in a moment. Then had work, so obviously I couldn't have an appointment with the GP whilst I was at work. I went to Bermuda. No, I didn't. I wish I did. I went to Barbados. That was also very nice, by the way, with a lovely crew. And then so tomorrow morning I'm going to try and get an appointment with my GP for a couple of things. The first one will be to, work out what we need to do with the blood pressure, work out if it is actually high. I think it probably is, because I did actually manage one relatively calm reading, and it was still higher than ideally it should be for the surgery and higher than it should be generally. So need to start that process tomorrow. But the second thing that happened is I haven't worked for a while. I went back to work on, what day is it now? I think I went back to work on Wednesday, that's right, and flew to Barbados. And by the end of the flight, I have never been in so much pain, and to the point where the manager offered to stand me down, and I was still capable of doing the job, I believe, but it became apparent that every time I go to work, I have to effectively electronically sign something to say that I believe I'm medically fit to fly, and with the amount of pain I've been in on those flights, I no longer believe that's the case. So I spoke to the manager on my last flight, the flight home from Barbados, which was Thursday into Friday. And no, it wasn't. It was Friday. Oh, hang on, I'm getting confused now. What days I've been working? 19th. Where are we now? Oh, no, it was on the 19th. So on the 20th into the 21st. Flew home, and I think that must have been Friday and Saturday, actually. Yeah, I think I had Wednesday off, and then it was Thursday that I flew. Anyway, Friday and Saturday, I spoke to the manager and said, look, I don't think, what do I need to do now? So she sent basically a note to the duty managers explaining the situation, that I was in a lot of pain with my hip. The only medication that I can take makes me drowsy, so I can't take it at work, and I think we're at the point where I probably shouldn't be working, or certainly not doing the cabin crew job. And I will give them their due credit. She submitted that report. We landed really early in the morning. And about 10 o'clock in the morning, I got a text message from a manager at work saying, when you get a chance, just please give it. We've read the report sent by your boss on the flight. Just when you get a chance, give us a ring. So I was awake, so I gave her a ring immediately. And it was a case of, the reason we sent you a text was obviously we saw you cleared from a flight this morning and didn't want to wake you up if you were, resting after the flight. And they've basically agreed, well, they're taking my word that I probably shouldn't be doing the cabin crew role at the moment. And what they've asked me to do is to get a fit note, which is absolutely fair and reasonable. So a doctor saying I can work, but I can't do these things, and realistically walking around is going to be one of them. So that's the other thing I need to do tomorrow. I need to get the process sorted to sort out my blood pressure and get a note to the effect that I can't really walk at work anymore. The advantage of that will be that I then will go through some kind of temporary job adjustment, which means I will still be working, but not on the aeroplane. So I don't know quite how it'll pan out. I don't know how much I'm even allowed to say, but I suspect it will be some kind of ground-based role, possibly even a home-based role, because I don't live very close to the airport. So that's likely what's going to happen. So maybe I will do, if there's anything to say tomorrow, if I get any definite answers, I might do that. And then basically I have a referral to someone within the company who basically decides what it is safe for me to do, what they can do as a job adjustment for me. Hopefully we can get the blood, because I've looked into the blood pressure thing and should be able to get the blood pressure down relatively quickly. It's 2 to 4 weeks on medication we usually do the job. So hopefully this won't put the surgery back too far. But that's the thing that's worrying me a little bit, is if it takes a long time to do this, then when will I be able to do the surgery? So it's all a bit up in the air exactly when things are going to happen. It will happen, but I just don't know. I suppose what's worrying me a bit is I might be bounced to the back of the queue, because I must be close to the head of the queue for the surgery now. I'm hoping they'll just keep me at the head of the queue, maybe letting other people go past me, and then just slot me in as soon as we've got the blood pressure thing sorted. If it is actually a problem. Although, as I say, my hunch is that it is. So yeah, that's where I am. You won't get a daily podcast from me for a little while. Definitely not going to hit the 300 this year. But you will get an update when there is something to say. And maybe once we have something in place and my brain isn't whizzing around all over the place, maybe I will get some writing done. Let's hope. Thank you so much for listening. I will update you at some point. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by me, Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my cogitative considerations, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my link tree on linktr.ee/Richard Writes. Capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.